What if the smartest engineers on Earth have been secretly copying their homework from animals? There's a field of science called biomimicry, and it's exactly what it sounds like, copying nature to solve human problems. Nature has been running experiments for about 3.8 billion years. Estimates suggest that's produced hundreds of solutions we've now turned into commercial technology. And some of the most iconic ones started with an accident. In 1941, a Swiss engineer named Georges de Mestral went for a walk in the Alps. When he got home, his jacket and his dog were covered in little burrs. Most people just picked them off and moved on. De Mestral put one under a microscope. The burr was covered in tiny hooks. Each hook would catch on the loops of fabric or fur it touched. He spent the next 8 years turning that idea into a product. He called it Velcro. It's on your jacket, your shoes, your kids' backpacks. But Velcro is just the beginning. Have you ever watched a gecko run straight up a glass wall? No glue, no suction cups, just its foot. A gecko's foot is covered in millions of microscopic hairs called setae. Each tiny hair creates a weak molecular attraction with the surface it touches. Multiply that by millions of hairs, and you get something that can hold serious weight. Engineers have spent years trying to replicate this. The result is a category of gecko-inspired dry adhesives. They work without any glue, just the same van der Waals forces the gecko uses. One of the most promising applications is in surgical settings, bandages and skin closures that don't need adhesive chemicals. From a lizard on a wall to a hospital, that's biomimicry. Now let's go underwater. Sharks are one of the oldest surviving species on the planet. They've been refining their design for over 450 million years. And the secret to their speed isn't just muscle, it's their skin. Under a microscope, shark skin looks like tiny overlapping scales called denticles. Those ridges disrupt the water flow around the shark in a way that reduces drag. Naval engineers have used this principle to develop shark skin-inspired coatings for ships and submarines. The coating also reduces biofouling, which is the buildup of barnacles and algae that slows ships down. Less drag, less buildup, less fuel used, all from copying a fish. Speaking of things that don't get dirty, have you ever noticed how lotus flowers stay perfectly clean even in muddy ponds? The lotus leaf has a texture so microscopically bumpy that water droplets can't spread out on it. Instead, droplets bead up and roll right off, taking any dirt with them. This is called the lotus effect. Engineers have copied the lotus leaf's microstructure to create self-cleaning surfaces for buildings and fabrics. Glass coatings, roof tiles, paint, the lotus effect is already embedded in everyday materials you walk past without knowing. Now let's talk about light. Fireflies glow in the dark, and you probably knew that. What you might not know is how efficient their light production actually is. A traditional incandescent bulb converts only about 10% of its energy into visible light. The rest just becomes heat wasted. A firefly converts almost all of its chemical energy directly into light, almost no heat at all. Researchers studying firefly lanterns found that the microscopic surface geometry of their light-emitting cells helps light escape more efficiently, and copying that geometry into LED design can meaningfully improve their output. The firefly didn't just inspire the concept of bioluminescence, it improved the engineering of the bulb itself. Let's talk about something even more dramatic. Humpback whales are enormous, sometimes up to 40 feet long. And yet they are incredibly agile, able to make sharp turns despite their size. The secret is on the leading edge of their flippers. Humpback flippers have a series of bumps on their leading edge called tubercles. Those bumps actually improve how water flows over the flipper, increasing lift and allowing tighter turns. Engineers copied this design and applied it to wind turbine blades. The tubercle-inspired blade design allows turbines to operate in lower wind speeds and generate energy more efficiently. That's not a metaphor, that's literally a humpback whale improving global energy infrastructure. Now let's talk about something that sounds like science fiction. Spider silk is, pound for pound, stronger than steel. It's also flexible, lightweight, and biodegradable. Engineers have been working on replicating spider silk's strength-to-weight ratio for textiles and for much tougher materials. Think parachutes, medical sutures, body armor, aerospace cables. The challenge is that you can't farm spiders the way you farm silkworms. They're territorial and cannibalistic. So researchers are now synthesizing spider silk proteins using genetically engineered bacteria and yeast. Nature built it, then told us the blueprint, and now we're running the factory. Let's go even bigger. Birds have been flying for over 150 million years. The Wright brothers famously watched birds to understand how to generate lift and control direction. But bird-inspired engineering didn't stop with the first plane. Modern aircraft engineers study how birds flex their wings mid-flight to reduce drag on wingtips. Those upturned winglets you see on the tips of commercial aircraft are a direct copy of how large birds like eagles angle their primary feathers. They reduce the vortex drag at wing tips, improving fuel efficiency on every flight. And then there are dolphins. The Shinkai 6500 is a deep-sea research submersible built by Japan. It can dive to 6,500 meters, that's the deep sea, under enormous pressure. Its hull shape was modeled on dolphin hydrodynamics, the way a dolphin's body moves through water with minimal resistance. The dolphin didn't design the submersible, but it gave engineers the geometry. That's the broader pattern you're starting to see. Nature is not the inspiration board. It's the technical manual. The organisms that survived didn't just get lucky. They solved real problems: drag, adhesion, strength, light, under extreme selection pressure. And they did it without any patents, without any funding cycles, without any failed product launches. Now there's something worth being clear about here. Not every animal-inspired claim holds up to the technical numbers. You'll sometimes see claims like shark skin reduces drag by a specific percentage thrown around in articles. The underlying principle that shark skin-inspired microstructures reduce drag and biofouling is real and verified. But the specific percentage figures often lack rigorous published data behind them. Biomimicry is genuinely revolutionary. It doesn't need exaggerated stats to be extraordinary. The actual verified applications, self-cleaning surfaces, better wind turbines, surgical adhesives, gecko tape, are staggering enough. And estimates suggest this field has produced hundreds of commercial applications just in recent decades. And we're still early. There are thousands of species whose structural innovations we haven't studied yet. Every coral structure, every insect exoskeleton, every deep-sea organism is a potential engineering solution we haven't found yet. Which makes habitat destruction not just an ecological loss, but a library fire. Every extinct species is a set of solutions we'll never get to study. That's the part most people don't think about when they hear the word biomimicry. So the next time you zip up your jacket or walk past a self-cleaning building or board a plane, look for the animal,